Welcome to How to Retail. I'm Ryan Edwards and today we're down at Commercial Bay in Auckland at KOOKAＩ. We're about to meet Area Manager Brandice, so let's go and do that now.
Hi, I'm Brandice and I'm the New Zealand Area Manager for KOOKAI.
So tell me about your business and your role within it.
Our business is a women's fashion company and we originated in Australia in the 1990s, and since we have expanded worldwide, and I'm the New Zealand Area Manager, so I focus on the stores, operations, training, recruitment and the general overall strategy for New Zealand.
What do you think's special about KOOKAI?
The people. Definitely the culture that has been created within the business. I think they do a really good job with communication, which is so important, especially when you are a worldwide brand. The people that we hire, we 100% hire for values. We have absolutely amazing values in our business: passion, integrity, evolution, innovation, and teamwork. And we really live and breathe those values on a daily basis, which is part of the reason we have an amazing culture.
How did KOOKAI fare during the COVID pandemic?
It was tough, extremely challenging year. You know, having stores closed for weeks or months on end is difficult for any staff member, any store, any company. Our whole head office had to work from home for some weeks, which creates its own challenges. I think that's probably one of the amazing things that we've implemented though from COVID, and Microsoft Teams. We always had it before, never utilized it. I remember dialing into phone calls for conferences before, and now I just go on Microsoft Teams and I can actually have a face-to-face conversation with my boss at any given time, which has been amazing. And we've implemented that all the way down into our store teams as well. We've had our store managers be on calls with the owner of the business and our chief operations manager, marketing, design. They can ask any questions they want on that forum, and it's been outstanding for that.
Talking about store openings, what advice have you got for anyone looking to expand their retail footprint?
Everything. It's so hard to open a store. You really just have to be flexible and roll with the punches as it goes. It's really important to have a support team. I think that's the most important thing on the ground with you. I'm really lucky I had support from head office at any point. Being able to go back to Microsoft Teams and call people and actually talk to them face to face was extremely helpful. I was able to open 2 stores last year. One was 5 months after the other, both within the pandemic. And so again, that support team was really incredible.
Can you tell me about any new innovations that have been implemented at KOOKAI?
Yes, we've just finished a rollout of a very exciting one called RFID. So it's a radio frequency identification system. So there's a tag in every single garment, which means that we can track our stock in real time at all times, which is absolutely amazing for the customer experience. So that's the ultimate end goal for it. It helps us as well from a team perspective, but we really want someone to look online at our website, see that Ponsonby has one left, and go into Ponsonby and be able to actually grab that product and leave with that product. And eventually the idea is to implement that into our online channel so that our customer can actually do click and collect. They can click it, ensure that it's theirs when they get there in 2 hours or tomorrow, and they've already purchased it online.
Brandice, you've spoken about how important people are to the business. How do you go about attracting good people and then developing them? So
I think attracting good people is far and wide by word of mouth. So having an amazing culture, making sure that anyone who's talking about KOOKAI just really wants to work there and be a part of that culture is really important. Retaining that talent is definitely much harder. I think part of that is hiring for values and making sure that their values really align with the company so that they're happy in their role, and then training and development within their career goal is really the next step. We're lucky enough we have 2/3 of our head office is actually straight from the shop floor. So I think being able to see that there are other part-time sales assistants who are now our marketing director and our people and development coordinator is really fantastic for the girls here on the floor, just to be able to know that they can really truly build a career within KOOKAI.
When you try to find the right store manager, what are you looking for?
Values. One of the best things that KOOKAI HR director has taught me is that you absolutely always hire for values. You can train skills. I guess at a store manager level, you know, they need to have some sort of customer experience background, retail background, something like that. But really you can train everything else that you need to in a business. The values just need to align.
So values are clearly very important to KOOKAI. How do you tell if someone's got the right values?
We actually, our HR director, who finds that so important, has created a phone interview form for us to go by. And by and large, in a 10-minute phone interview, we can really pick if someone has the right values. They're mainly very broad questions. And so then it's really about what the person tells you, and what they're going to tell you is what aligns with their personal values. So not mentioning any of our values at all in our questions, but just having really broad questions. That means that the candidate can actually tell me what they value.
What training and development does KOOKAI do for its staff?
We have a really strong training and development aspect to our business, which is amazing. A lot of it is on-the-job training, but that's really backed up by, we have like 40 or 50 workshops that we do with our teams, and it actually takes our team members straight through from their part-time to full-time to management to then leadership. And within each of those areas, there's approximately 7 or 8 workshops that have been created by different area managers, area trainers, and our people and development coordinator. And then after that 3 or 4 hour workshop, then we really do on-the-job training with those people who were part of that workshop for the next month or so.
Where does KOOKAI get its manufacturing done?
We own our own manufacturing facilities. So we now have 2 manufacturing facilities in Sri Lanka and Fiji. Fiji was the first one that we opened, and really that was about trying to ensure that we created a really good working environment for the workers who create the products that come into our stores. And then we grew as a company and opened Sri Lanka as well. And really a lot of that was about not putting all of our eggs in one basket, which the pandemic has really shown is a really positive thing to do. And because of the pandemic, we are now looking at a 3rd one as well. We recently actually had a situation where for a couple of weeks, Sri Lanka and Fiji were both closed because of COVID cases. And that was something we never foresaw happening. So really pushing the 3rd manufacturing facility now.
Did you have any supply issues with COVID? And then if you did, how did you get over them?
Yes, we did. There was a lot of fabrics that we couldn't source anymore. So I think our design team worked absolutely endlessly for a few months in there mid last year and literally created a whole new collection for us to ensure that we still had product coming into our stores every single week during all of the pandemic, which was absolutely amazing. They also added a full loungewear range to the collection, which has done so incredibly well, which is something we never foresaw KOOKAI doing. So it was really awesome that we actually added something in the pandemic that's still doing well a year later.
How does KOOKAI go about maintaining and driving customer loyalty?
We have a customer loyalty database. And so we do, direct mail, we have Instagram that people can follow as well. We do little giveaways every once in a while. We have campaigns that come through as well. But ultimately for KOOKAI, it's about customer experience. So when someone comes in store, we really just want them to have a really positive experience and want to come back to us. And we have a full, what we call a sequence of service that goes along with that for our team members to follow. But ultimately at the end of the day, the sequence of service is only there to ensure that we're giving our customers a really positive experience in store and they leave feeling amazing.
How important is Retail NZ to KOOKAI?
Extremely important for me personally. I loved that Rainer called me, and it was purely because I call so heavily on retail. They actually knew my name and company, and that was why we're doing this interview today, which is awesome. Honestly, it really just gives me the support and confidence that I need to be able to make certain actions with my employees and make sure that I'm always doing right by my employees. And it also, the emails that come through quite regularly, I read every single one of them just to make sure that I'm really up to date on what's happening with retail in New Zealand specifically.
Brandice, what are the next steps for KOOKAI?
As I said, we opened 2 stores in New Zealand alone during the pandemic last year. We've just opened a beautiful store in Emporium in Melbourne, looking at refitting a lot of our current stores to enhance customer experience, fully implement RFID into the stores. KOOKAI is always looking to expand, so new markets, new retail locations. The pandemic definitely hasn't slowed that down.